Okay. So every year, just like clockwork, we drop a video for you guys about the pros and cons of Jacksonville. And every year, I can admit, I fall into a trap, right? You know the one where I'm telling you how Jacksonville is the largest city in the United States? That's still true, it's freaking huge. Or we have 270 days of sunshine. Mostly true, feels like that sometimes. Or the summer's so hot that you can fry an egg on the sidewalk. Definitely true. Talk about the traffic, it's bad. Come on, we're not Atlanta, we're not LA, but it's debatable, it feels pretty bad sometimes. Oh, and I always talk about, you know, like no state income tax, which is truly a flex, and that's also true. But this year we're doing something different. Forget about the surface level things that we talk about. If you're serious about moving to Jacksonville and investing, you're tired of hearing the same old things from everyone. Today we're diving into some real stuff that nobody else is talking about on YouTube. The good, the bad, and the messy. The housing market that's baffling economists. The under the radar job boom that's going on in Jacksonville. Why some of the schools look like they're straight out of Netflix Team's drama, while the other ones, they may be like Harvard prep. And the stuff you wish to know before you pack the U-Haul and come down to Jacksonville. So we're gonna get into it in this video right now. Let's go. Let's get into this hot topic, housing. Now, is Jacksonville market going to crash? Is it going to keep going up? What's the deal? Now, here's the thing. Jacksonville's real estate market may arguably be one of the most resilient markets in the country. Even during 2008 crash, when I was doing more, we didn't collapse like some of the other places. I'm looking at you, Vegas. And the COVID roller coaster, while places like Austin saw some pretty wild swings, Jacksonville kind of yawned and maybe had a brief 3 to 5% dip, but it kept chugging along. Now, this is being fueled by migration from other states like New York, California, and Jersey. Fast forward to 2025. What are we seeing now? Stability. And the market is more stable than flashy, right? Recent data shows us that the median house price in Duval, don't look all around, is about $305,000. We have moderate growth, right? Year over year, price increases are modest right now. We're talking about 2 to 4% depending on the report, not the crazy jumps you've seen in other places. Healthy, not hyper. Inventory is settling from last year, giving buyers a little more choice, but well-priced homes are still moving relatively quickly between 45 and 70 days. Why the resilience? A few key factors. Lower investor saturation. We are not investor packed like you'll see down in Miami. Only 18% of sales were to investors versus the 30% that you'll find down in Miami. At that time, meaning more owner occupants drive stability. Builders seem to have learned from 2008 with less speculative overbuilding compared to in some markets. People are moving here for jobs, weather, relatives, affordability, right? It's creating a steady demand when you're moving down here. So shout out to all those people in New York, California, who are moving down here to trade in their Matchbox homes for larger homes. But here's the real play. Jacksonville isn't a get-rich-quick housing market. It's a get-rich-slow housing market. Think about steady appreciation. Over time, maybe 5 to 7% equity a year, historically not 20% overnight. And now if you want potential steals or unique value, look into some of the historic areas like Springfield, which has seen a huge value increase over the last decade. Or check out some of the suburbs, because right now those are exploding with new sales. So you want a home that's going to appreciate over time? I'm telling you, find you something that you can add value to, or find you a home that's in a growth zone. Places like Springfield, Yulee, which are going to be out of control in the next couple of years. So Jacksonville's job scene is like a quiet kid in class who suddenly shows up driving a Ferrari. Yeah, you've got the beaches, but you've also got a lot of major companies setting up shop and expanding right here in Jackson. We're talking about big names. For all of my healthcare workers and retirees out there, Jacksonville healthcare scene is elite. We have Mayo Clinic, one of only 3 sites. We have Baptist Health, we have US Health, we have Ascension St. Vincent's. And if you're wanting cutting edge treatment facilities specializing in top cancers, it's right here without having to drive all the way to Tampa or Miami. Finance, insurance, fintech, Fidelity, Deutsche Bank, FIS, and various other banks. In logistics, we have Jacksport, now one of the top vehicles for import-export hubs in the country. We also have Amazon with 4 amazing distribution hubs right here in Jacksonville. CSX, which is Fortune 500 railroad, headquartered right here in the Jacksonville area. And here's something crazy. Logistic jobs are expected to grow 23% over the next 5 years in the Jacksonville area. Now, the emerging innovation corridors like Brooklyn and the South Bank are quietly building out tech, fintech, and startup ecosystems. Now, recent data, January of 2025, shows that Jax Metro added nearly 10,000 private sector jobs over the year in education and healthcare. The unemployment rate is right around 3.5. So it's not just blue collar jobs that are being grown right here in the Jacksonville area. We're also looking at white collar growth as well. So when you're doing your research on actually moving to Jacksonville, Florida, you may want to check out some of these industries because right now they're booming and you may just find the job that works for you. So shout out to all of our families that are military and veterans, right? Jacksonville gets us, and this is a deeply military-friendly town. So it has a major presence of NAS Jax, we have Mayport, we have Camp Blanding, and I think, Kings Bay, don't forget that one, military submarine base up in South Georgia. Now we reap a lot of benefit for being in Florida. Let me help you out real quick. 0 state tax on military retirement pay. The second would, of course, be utilizing your VA loan. Jacksonville accounts for about 12% of sales utilizing the VA loan, as opposed to nationwide, it's only about 8%. Healthcare down here, we have a new VA hospital, guys, and it's larger than some small malls. Beautiful, process is not as bad. If you are 100% disabled, guess what you get? 0 property tax. So I think that's a huge thing for people making their way down here to Jacksonville, understanding the benefits that come along with being a vet or active duty military in Jacksonville. And then I've always have to highlight some of the support that we get, right? So nonprofits like K9s for Warriors, the nation's biggest service dog programs right here. And 5-Star Veteran Center provides like incredible support for our vets. Now, we don't recognize a couple of things. We have to recognize this. Jacksonville is constantly ranking in the top 10 for cities for vets to live in. So basically, if you're active duty, you're reserved, you're retired, this is one of the few things that they say, thank you. Thank you for serving this country. Not only that, of course, we get the supply, we get the discount, we get real support down here, and of course, you save a little bit of money. Okay, so the biggest thing that everyone's always talking about, yes, Jacksonville's overall cost of living is lower than the national average, and recent estimates give it about 7% lower. But when it comes to housing, we're looking at about 10 to 11% cheaper than the United States average. Now, utilities, they're gonna be 5 or 6% cheaper, transportation about 12 to 13%, healthcare, 14% cheaper. That no state income tax, that's the real flex. And we're talking about a $75,000 salary feeling more like $90,000. Versus those high-end states like up north. And compared to other states in Florida, cities like Miami, Tampa, Jax is generally more affordable day to day. But there's a catch, guys. Groceries are not significantly cheaper. They went about 1% higher than the national average according to most recent data. Your AC bill in July and August feels like Satan's sauna. Your AC will be constantly running, and I'm gonna help you out real quick. It's going to increase in those peak summer months, period. So you have to budget for that up front. But hey, you're not paying, $10 for a gallon of milk just yet. And eggs across the board, they're high. All right, so it's time for the not so good stuff. Now, no city is perfect. Trust me on that one. And if you're moving here, you're gonna wanna know the downside. Now, this is a real one, guys, especially for those families. Schools in Jacksonville, their situation is kind of like a mixed bag. And I'm talking about highly inconsistent. Now, yes, we absolutely have some rock star public schools. We're talking about Stanton College Prep, consistently ranked in the nation. Paxton School of Advanced Studies, ranked in the nation. Darnell Cookman School of Medical Arts, Douglas Anderson School of the Arts, and then of course we have several A-rated schools in neighborhoods and Magnet and all the programs that you're possibly looking for. But you can find a top-rated school and a 2 out of 10 school literally 10 minutes apart. Now, school quality is often heavily tied to neighborhood property values and taxes, and it's very zip code sensitive right here in Jacksonville. District ratings, now we do get a B. Let me put that out there up front. But at the same time, we're looking at district-wide proficiency scores hovering around 50% in math and about 46% in reading. You cannot assume when you're buying a house in a generally good neighborhood that you're automatically getting a top-tier school. You have to look at specific school zones, feeder patterns, and of course the school grades. Check this out. This is a pro tip. I tell people all the time, check out greatschools.org and niche.org to kind of find out what schools work for you. Also look at the Department of Education here in Duval County. We have some amazing schools here, but with that inconsistency, I always tell people you must do your research. It's one neighborhood in particular, I'm not going to say the name right now. You'll literally get a 10 out of 10 when it comes to elementary, an 8 out of 10 when it gets to middle school, and you'll have a 4 out of 10 in high school. So you guys want to check those out. Now, if you're moving from DC, New York, California, Seattle, brace yourself because there's going to be potential sticker shock on your paycheck, how the numbers play out. So Jacksonville, the median household income here is about $67,000 per year. Now you compare that to DC at 101, San Diego, I think is 96, and then NYC, $82,000. There's going to be a trade-off. Now, obviously, the cost of living is way lower here. So the house is $500,000 here, maybe $1.4 million in San Diego. So oftentimes it's going to kind of balance out and you might earn less, but you're not living in your in-laws' basement to afford life. And the industry, it truly matters. Now, pay gaps can be more noticeable in certain fields. Now, unless you land a major role in some of these national global employees here, you may see a real difference. Service and retail and maybe a little of local government, those salaries can feel kind of stagnant. So always tell people to do your research in your specific field before moving to Jacksonville. We just had a customer call us from the DC area. She's a nurse. She's making over $100,000. First thing I said is, please check with the local hospitals to make sure, because I don't want you to shoot the messenger when you see that your salary is definitely going to dip from that 100,000 to maybe 87,000, but it's definitely more comparable than where you're living now. The house they live in up there, $1.3 million. We showed them a couple of houses down here in Jacksonville, nowhere near as we compare the two different homes. So you may drop a little bit on salary. Don't get stuck on that. Look at the cost of living first so we can help you navigate your way to a, say, a lower paying lifestyle that benefits you more. Behold the Florida special. Okay guys, so I'm gonna have to keep it real. When you're in Florida, you're in Jacksonville, we have a type here. And when it comes to architecture, you're going to see a lot of the same things, especially in newer development. Look, stucco, siding. It's a lot of beige, grays, and tans, and many of the neighborhoods feature the same 5 to 7 floor plans on. So you do get that cookie cutter feel. And if you're somewhere that has lots of brownstones, charming craftsmen, that mid-century modern homes everywhere, the dominant style here may feel repetitive, especially when you're looking at national builders like, I'm not going to say, but you're going to get the same type feel. If you want character, yes, it absolutely exists, but you have to seek it out, right? I'm looking at historic homes, right? I'm looking at Riverside, Avondale, Springfield, and San Marco with those beautiful bungalows and those Mediterranean revival homes, absolutely gorgeous. Or you're going to look at a custom or semi-custom build. Build higher end local custom builders like Toll Brothers, ICI, Riverside. They're going to give you a little bit more of that unique design that you're actually looking for. So accept this. If you're looking for a home in Jacksonville, you may see a lot of cookie cutter. I just have to be honest with that. But there are some of those builders that will add on some features to kind of give your neighborhood a better, unique feel. They may add some stone to the front. You're going to have different elevations of that property. Or we can find a house a little bit further out, or something that was built previous to, let's say, 2010 that may give you the style that you're looking for. All right, now let's talk about crime real quick because it's an important topic. And when this topic comes up, I always tell people we have to address this with facts, because when I hear people talk about Jacksonville crime and how bad it is, it's generally from third-party information from someone who knows someone that has never been in crime at all. But as a realtor, I have to tell you first, I cannot discuss if a neighborhood is good or bad, right? It's called stealing, and that is illegal. However, I can go over data. Now, looking at it statistically, yes, Jacksonville is bad, guys, right? Like we're higher than the national average, we're higher than the Florida average, but I have to go to numbers because the data in 2022, now that's the last comprehensive FBI report, shows that 12.4 violent crimes per 1,000 customers. And the odds of you being a victim during that time was 1 in 80. And that's also including property crime rates, which were elevated as well. But the nuance, and this is very important for you guys to understand, crime here in Jacksonville is hyper localized. It's concentrated in specific zip codes, it's concentrated in specific neighborhoods. And the truth is, it can change change dramatically once you leave those zip codes. And it has changed dramatically as a city. Listen, 2024, homicide rates in Jacksonville dropped by 50%. Now that's the lowest it's been in 2 decades. And here's my personal perspective. I've lived here for 13 years. I walk some of the best neighborhoods. I walk some of the worst neighborhoods. And what I never have felt, I've never felt unsafe at all. So I tell people when they're moving down here, check out a website, spotcrime.com, and you can actually see what specific zip codes you may not want to move into. And check this out. You're grown. You've driven many cities. You have areas in your neighborhood that you won't go. And you can recognize the signs as you're driving through those neighborhoods. This is my advice. Once you feel those signs, stay away, turn around, go the opposite direction. But this city as a whole, it definitely does not have the crime that people talk about on the news, on my best friend's cousin, mama, sister, brother said. That's not the type of feel that you actually get in Jacksonville. This is not Gotham City. We do not have Batman here with his signal because everyone is getting robbed by the Joker. Do your research first because it's not as bad as people say. So if patience is a virtue that you possess, fantastic. You're gonna need it when you're coming to Jacksonville because if you're expecting rapid, sweeping, transformative change in the local government, good luck. Jacksonville is a city where progress is more of a slow simmer versus a quick boil. Things move at a very deliberate pace here, right? Ambitious projects like downtown renovation, riverfront development, mass transit expansion, or upgrades according to the stadium district, they're often met with enthusiasm up front and then stall, and it feels like we're in a holding pattern forever. You hear phrases like it's in the pipeline or they're in the planning stages for absolute years. Take Emerald Trail, for example. Approved back in 2019, yet by the time we filmed, only a short portion was actually completed. This isn't unusual. It's a larger pattern where exciting concepts take root, but the execution can feel like it's stuck in slow motion. As Jacksonville continues to grow, and it's growing fast, the infrastructure isn't always keeping up. Roads, drainage systems, public transportation, and utilities are often reactive rather than proactive. You'll find areas that look brand new but still flood and have heavy rain, or have traffic issues because the roads weren't designed to handle the sudden influx of residents. Now, the city size and rapid expansion make it tough to stay ahead of the curve. It's not that things don't happen here, they do. It just takes a little bit of time. So don't expect some overwhelming change. But I can say this, over the last year, I've seen so much change inside of this area, and it has me completely excited. I have a lot of people in the comments talk about we'll see when it gets there. No, a lot of these things are actually being built right now. So you can see the downtown beginning to expand. A lot of these road projects are coming to an end, which means there's a significant amount of growth that's happening right here in the Jacksonville area. Historically, though, everything has been slow, but those dollars have been appropriated and they're pushing a lot of new construction, renovation inside of the Jacksonville area, which excites me the most. So hopefully the old pattern of taking forever will stop taking forever, and then we'll get the things that they said they were going to build, or the things they said it's in the pipeline. This one is the last one. It's a bit touchy, but we have to talk about it, right? Because it's real. And people ask me this question all the time. How does it feel living here regarding diversity, politics, and being an outsider? Now, I like to tell people this. Jacksonville is diverse, both culturally, racially, and economically. And politically, it's a very much so purple city. Pretty evenly split in 2024 between red and blue. And honestly, for the most part, it feels like many other large, diverse southern cities. Most people are focused on their own lives, working, families, and maybe a Jaguar winning or losing again. And you're going to see a lot of bumper stickers. You may see the rebel flag. And of course, like anywhere, you're going to find pockets of ignorance and closed-mindedness. But overall vibe of the city is more integrated, generally welcome and very cool. My personal take, if you come here looking for problems, division, you're going to find it. If you're looking for community with opportunity and connection, that's also here. It's largely about showing up and engaging with your people being people with similar interests, similar likes, similar lifestyles as you have. Because me personally, I love everybody. You often catch me laughing, joking, playing, talking to pretty much anyone that I come in contact with. And I truly feel if you hate somebody based off the color of their skin, you're ignorant. That's my take. I wanted to give it to you personally. But that's what Jacksonville is. It's highly diverse. You're gonna get your red, you're gonna get your blue, you're gonna get your white, you're gonna get black, and everything in between. And if you love this city like I do, you're not even looking for the tension. You know what you're doing? You're living your life. Okay, so there it is, the real grown-up version of pros and cons of 2025. I wasn't giving you sound bites, right? I didn't even want to talk about sunshine and traffic like you'll hear everywhere else, but I did want to talk about the housing market. I wanted to talk about the solid growth that's happening in a lot of sectors down here, the healthcare, the military, how you benefit from living here. I wanted to get in crime in a way that was statistics, right? Not what everyone is saying. He say, she say. I just wanted to shut up, Paul. But you actually got to hear the numbers. And I also want to get into like the climate down here, right? I think it's very important to understand socially what's going on inside of a new area before you pack those bags and pack up that U-Haul and make your way down here. Now, is Jacksonville perfect? No. Absolutely not. Nowhere is going to be perfect for you guys, but is it a place that you can see you laying your head? I would love for you to drop down in the comments your questions, your comments about Jacksonville. And in every video I do this, I put our phone number. Remember, we would love to serve you guys. We're the guys that pick up the phone, answers the text, answers the emails. And in every video, I put 2 more videos. So you can check out the skinny, the lowdown of what's going on in Duval and Northeast Florida. But until next time, guys, be great. Choose excellence in everything you do.